Hey everyone, this is Slash Hack with MXX Games, and today we're going to play 7 Days to Die, Alpha 15. And we'll be walking through how to build a good horde-proof starter base, and for that we're going to start a brand new random world to show that this technique is pretty decent and can work on any map. So let's get to it. Alright, so I've never actually played a random gen map before, so this was definitely a new experience here. If you couldn't tell, I'm doing everything at 4 times speed, so I don't have to subject you to an hour long of day 1 of 7 Days to Die. So the first thing that I always do when I start a new game is pretty much just run around and try and get a sense of where I am, and make sure you collect the very necessities here. We got some wood, some stone, some fiber, and it's essential to really crafting this stone axe, because that's going to be the mainstay of your inventory for a good beginning of the game until you get into metals a while later. And also grab every single feather that you can, so you can make a bow and arrows. And looks like I actually got pretty lucky here. There's a boar, but I got even luckier and actually found a stag. So that bow came in really handy to get that bow meat, or that deer meat. And the second thing you want to do is make sure you build a bedroll as soon as you can. If you don't, you'll wind up some other place on the map if you don't have your bed placed, and you'll probably never find your backpack again. It'll be a long walk if you do. That's just rummaging around, trying to collect everything we can. Trying to get as much wood and as much random stuff that we can. Now, one thing you could do is you can actually destroy those corpses and get bones and make a bone shiv, which is the basic knife in the game, and that will let you go ahead and we'll skin this deer here with the bone, and we'll get more meat and more animal hide using the knife. And make sure you build a chest when you can, especially if you got some meat, because the meat kind of smells. It'll attract all the zombies, and you don't want them to find out where you are. So put that away, since you're not going to be needing it for a while. And it's pretty simple to make there. So I am trying to find the best place to build my base. And usually what I look for is a nice flat open spot. And I think this desert over here will probably be where I end up choosing to. I don't like the burning forest at all, just because the ambient noise of the forest burning kind of makes you think one of those burning zombies is there. But this looks pretty good. This is getting pretty flat here. Oh. This is actually a special area here, an ancient burial grounds. Looks like we're just looking around, running from zombies. And make sure if you can, find a place that's pretty close to water. If you can't find some place that's close to water, being close to snow also works, because a lot of the recipes now you can dig up some snowballs and melt those in order to get your water for drinking, and that's going to be incredibly important here. Let's see, I'll keep gathering all that wood, all that fiber. Once you get that bow, that's really helpful. I mean, helps you take these zombies. Don't try and rush them with the stone axe. It's not a good combat tool starting at the beginning. It's better just to keep your distance and try and get them with the bow there. And that generally works out pretty well. And if you find anything interesting, make sure you mark it on your map, so you can always go back to it, especially if you don't have any inventory space at the moment. Let's see here. I think it's getting pretty late in the day, so start thinking about building our base here. Trying to clear the area of all the zombies. So probably the wood is the most important resource that you'll need for your first night. Stone is good. It'll help you keep preparing your stone axe, along with some fiber, and that way you could, build new ones, raise your stone axe level. So you can see mine is currently 2. Quality is currently 2 on that. The better that is, the longer it will last, the more helpful it will be. Yee. It's gonna get pretty. It's already 5 o'clock here. Always be really efficient with your bow, with your arrows here. Aim for the head. It's usually not that difficult, and get them when they're down, because you get 3 times bonus to damage there. I think I ran out of arrows. Or actually my bow looks like it's almost out of quality there. Yeah, so actually what we'll do here in a few minutes is we'll start making some boxes. Just some of the simple wooden frames, and that'll just be the basis of, they're really useful for planning out your base, because you could always pick them back up later. Let's just grab as much stone as we can here. The wooden frames are handy because you could pick them up, move them around, helps you plan out where you want walls, or if you want a base a certain size here. It'll let us show that. Whoa, that's gonna take a lot here. Also, for the first night, our strategy is going to be that we're going to hide underground, which actually works out pretty well for a good percentage of the early game. It becomes a problem later on, especially when you get to the hordes. You usually end up digging up the ground in one way or another and making your way in your base. But for the first night, it generally works pretty well here. So what we're going to do is we're going to map out a 5x5 area, which will be our base underground, and actually the whole base itself is going to be a 7x7 square. So we have a 5x5 inside, and you can watch me totally botch this wooden hatch here twice. It's going to be a 5x5 square on the inside, so you got your walls that's 7x7, and then later on the outside we're going to dig out and add a pit and fill it with spikes, and then we're going to add a parapet and a nice overhang on the top, so we could snipe our zombies. Alright, so I got my hatch here. That's all set. Just getting some wood beforehand. The more planks you have, the better, because you could dig down, and if you run into a problem, you can always nerd pull to climb. Where you just look at your feet, jump and put a wooden frame here. But this'll be good. We'll probably clear out most of the area in here at the beginning. Oh, and a torch is usually helpful. So that's good that I had some of that animal fat, I think, for the torch. That was definitely a bonus. So we're going to clear out a 5x5 area, but in order to do that, we're going to have it so that we're going to dig down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, 5 layers. There's going to be 5 layers between the ground level and our floor level. So it's going to be a 2-story building. So we'll have our floor on the very bottom level. We'll have 2 spaces for walking, 2 spaces height for walking. Then we'll have another floor, and we'll have another 2 spaces before it gets to the ground level. And then we'll end up building our sleeping quarters in the very bottom base here. So right now, so this is actually going to be like the 7th layer from the top down is where I'm building this floor. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think I was just trying to see how far down I was trying to get some stone, but unfortunately in the desert, you don't reach a rock layer, it's all sand. Which actually worked out pretty well, because my stone shovel here is actually a much better tool for digging dirt and sand than the stone axe is. So that's a pretty good thing to build early on if you can, especially if you're like when you're starting to dig out your base here. It'll work a lot better than trying to hit it with your axe. It'll last a lot longer as well. You can see how all this wood is coming in handy. I'm able to dig myself into a hole and get myself out of this hole here. Alright. I think I'm actually making the bottom layer now. I think before was kind of the middle floor there, but I'm not exactly sure. And this is good because this lets you work on your base, not have to worry about zombies. As long as you close off the hatch on the top and you don't have any indentations or any places where a zombie could get stuck on a block and start digging around. Maybe in the future they'll add digging zombies. I think they used to have them in the past, but they turned the whole landscape into Swiss cheese, so they don't have them right now. But maybe they'll get smarter in the future here. And as I'm digging here, I'm going to be building a central pole in the middle, not only to support the roof, but that's also going to be where I'm going to put my ladders to get out eventually here. And just putting some finishing touches, you know, keeping this floor in place here so I don't actually accidentally pick it up. And that will pretty much do it for day one here. Got a nice little place to hide from the zombies. Hope you enjoyed this video, and let's take a look. Keep an eye out for day 2 soon.